What's up, all my beings of light, art, culture, and knowledge, and welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. It's your man, Governor Wildstar, the one and only governor of me, myself, and I. I appreciate all of you for being here with me for a very special episode with a wonderful guest who I'm going to be introducing to you right here, right now. His name is Jamarcus Purley, former staffer for Dianne Feinstein. What's up, brother, man? Welcome to the Black Side of Liberty.
What's up, bro? I'm just cooling it, man. Just trying to calm myself down. Nice to be chatting with you.
You good, man. We just gonna have a friendly conversation, between homies and just, hey, get everything out there and clear the air for what's going on with you in your life. Absolutely. Do some woosahs, for sure. But yeah, Jamarcus Purley, again, former staffer, former legislative director. What is that? What was the position that you had with
legislative correspondent? Was correspondent. I don't even want to take too much credit. Legislative correspondent.
Yeah, what is a legislative correspondent? Can you tell people out there what's that?
Let me tell you. So when you write into the office, people think they're writing into their senator. So let's say the biggest thing I had to do last year, people dealing with COVID, they need money. When you write in access for money, that doesn't go to the senator. She never sees what you even wrote in. She hires people like me. I read what you and I write whatever I want to you. And so I was the person lying for the senator the last 5 years, all on economic policy. So whether it's banking and finance, whether it's labor, if you have any type of issues associated with, that you're broke, you're not surviving, and the senator's not doing enough, so you want to write in. I'm the person she wrote to that never got to the senator but still responded to you.
Wow. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of letters that you end up reading, whether it be mailed in or emailed or whatever the case may be. But, correspondence from the public because, everybody knows Senator Dianne Feinstein. She's been around since forever, it seems. But and as far as her being an active member of Congress, I'm pretty sure there's many issues that she gets contacted about. So with you reading all of this information, I mean, how did that impact you on the job and your performance, I guess you would say?
I guess what really got me is that, so you go into the job, you're thinking that, okay, so let me tell you, when I first started the job, I started as a staff assistant. And let me tell you what a staff assistant is. So when I interned back in DC in college, I was doing it for Senator Pryor in Arkansas. So a staff assistant, you talk on the phone. When you call your senator, I was the person you would talk to. So you say, hey, can I speak to Senator Feinstein? How's it going? That was me. I would take all your calls because when I first came to the office, I had just finished grad school at Harvard. Harvard is just such a disconnected place. The students have no idea what's going on in the real world. So I wanted to make sure I spoke to people directly, but also spoke to people without them knowing I went to Harvard. So I wanted to talk through the senator, through her, to talk on the phone through as a voice for the senator. So when I first got the job and I'm talking to people, I was shook because they would call in about the most serious things. A lot of time, healthcare was the biggest issue. And they would call in asking for serious help. Like, we don't have coverage, but my mother's dying of cancer. And so I'm taking all of this. It's just the first few weeks, I'm just overwhelmed by it. And I would go to the bosses and say, hey, these people are requesting this type of help. And every time I would go, they would just kind of laugh it off and say, we don't do that. And so the first few weeks in the office was just like a very rude awakening that we're actually doing the bare minimum that we can to make sure that we look like we're helping people, but not actually doing anything that's going to have real money attached to it. Because at the end of the day, I want people to know the federal government is all about saving the U.S. money and keeping everything out of America's pockets. And so that's when I first realized that there was something weird going on. The first 2 years, I was taking calls from people, hearing them literally tell you that they're about to die from something that all they need is a little support from the senator. And I would go to the legislative director, go to the chief of staff, and they're always saying, "Nah, we're not going to do that." And that was a rude awakening. Then I got promoted after 2 years, and that's when I was writing. In these last 3 years, that's when I really saw the truth about the federal government. Because the wild thing is, we work on the 8th floor. We don't even see what the 8th floor is like. The top floor of the building I work in the Senate. All the magic for the Senator Feinstein goes down on the 3rd floor. So when I got promoted 2 years in, I moved down from the 8th floor down to our bottom floors. And that's when I started seeing the senator day to day. And I realized it was a completely different person than one who we see on TV and who I thought I see when I see her in passing once a week when I was just answering phones. And that's when I knew I had to figure something out 3 years ago. And I was just like, people have no idea what actually takes place in these conversations when nobody's looking and it's really in private.
Right. Absolutely. It's kind of interesting that you get a chance to see someone such as Dianne Feinstein behind closed doors because, in the public eye, she's assumed as being a great supporter of the public, and public issues, whether it be gun rights or, gun violence or whatever the case may be. Black people getting shot and killed by cops.
Serious issues.
Drugs, yeah, very serious issues. And like you said, you're fielding calls. You're actually hearing from these people themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And she could care less. And the rest of her team, which confirms our suspicions. The public knows these things. We talk about it all the time. It's just we're looking for some affirmation of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy that you even have to experience such a thing because, hey, that shows to prove that she's not the person that she pretends to be on camera,
She's not. And that my biggest issue is that, and obviously I can already imagine what people are going to say, what I'm about to say. Keep in mind, it's an obvious fact if you watch her talk for 5 minutes and it's just taboo to say. Senator Feinstein is senile. Like in private, you will tell her something, and 2 minutes later, she's going to forget everything that you said. And that's the biggest issue that I noticed. Like at first, when I first got promoted 3 years ago, I remember my first meeting, like really just sitting in front of her, watching and seeing everybody around her. And I was just like, well, she's senile. And all of these adults are literally acting like she's not because it's a great job. It's literally working in Congress. If you're working for a boss who doesn't really remember things, you have so much freedom and leeway. I mean, it's like you're playing Grand Theft Auto, but at the federal level. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, these people are literally allowing this senile person who doesn't even know what Black Lives Matter means, who doesn't even know when we tell her what DACA is, she forgets it a few minutes later. And I'm like, this is unacceptable because as a Black person, I know we have an infinity amount of issues that we have to address right now. And then you think about California, you have hundreds of thousands of dreamers. How does the senator not even know what a dreamer is in the first place? And so that's when I realized in the first 6 months of my promotion, I was just overwhelmed because I thought I was tripping for it, but because I was like, I can't be the one adult in this room that's recognizing that she shouldn't even be in this seat, and somehow we're still supporting her. But that's why people need to know the staff more because the real people running the show, the chiefs of staffs. And her chief of staff, David Grannis, he's the actual senator. She's the face that you see.
He's the guy pulling the strings.
He's pulling all the strings. He's including who gets hired, who doesn't. She says that she wants something. He'll tell us to do something different. And the wild shit is that she'll forget what she said, and so we'll do what David did. And I'm just like, how is this acceptable? But it's only acceptable because people in Congress don't have a backbone. They made it to the top level you could in terms of government, and there are no checks and balances. We don't even have an HR department. If someone were to sexually assault me in my office, you know who I have to go to? Take a guess. Take a guess who I have to talk to. I would have to tell the senator. If the chief of staff sexually assaulted me, I would have to tell.
I was going to say, don't tell me her.
Think about how far-fetched that is. And so there aren't any checks. And so 6 months in, that's when I realized 6 months in, which is I got promoted 3 years ago. So 2.5 years ago is when I really started thinking through I'm going to move because the chief of staff is running the show. The senator is senile, and all of the staff is too afraid to have a backbone to stand up and say anything in the office meetings or outside. And so that's when I first started speaking up within the office. And that's when I really saw like the trouble that you get into when you speak up to people who have power and it goes unchecked.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're being this skin tone, you know what I'm saying? It's like
don't even get me started because that was the actual issue. If I was Anne Hathaway's color, bro, if I was Elon Musk color, I wouldn't even be in front of you right now. But like, be a Negro speaking up about a senator that has $90 million that's been in his seat for 25 years, the former mayor of San Francisco, who clearly is senile and doesn't know what's going on now. And I was just like, I was bringing it up to the chief of staff, to the legislative director, and that's when I really started getting in trouble because they were just like, Negro, you asking too many questions.
Yeah, and like I was saying, especially with you being a black man, it doesn't matter that you went to Harvard or Stanford. It doesn't matter how well educated you are. It doesn't matter how you even excelled, in your position, being promoted to, where you were. But yeah, you go to speak up, and it's sad because that's one thing that I guess white America doesn't realize what Black America experiences in the corporate atmosphere is those little prejudices. You know what I'm saying? Those little microaggressions and shit like that, especially when you can't speak up just like another person in the office could, to say, hey, this person is fucking up at doing their job.
Right.
I want to point it out.
Yeah, you preach it. You need to come.
But if you're white and you do it, you get promoted. If anything, you might end up taking their position.
Exactly. And that's what really happened. That's spot on. And what really happened, like I said, before I even got promoted, when I first got in, let me tell you something. So I got passed over for a promotion in my first 2 years. They told me I didn't write well enough. And keep in mind, I already know this is a lie, but I know, let me tell you the 2 reasons why they passed me up for the promotion. Number one, when I started taking phones, because a lot of these are just like racist white liberals in San Francisco that have never even talked to a black person who demands that you do exactly what they say. A lot of them are, a lot of calls you get are people from California who really need support. But the racist white liberals on the phone, they're vicious. They were calling me nigger all the time. No, I mean, like ER. No, man, I say it on. They were calling me nigger all the time. I go to the legislative director, Josh Esquivel. I'm telling him they're calling me nigger all the time. Right. Oh, they just have a lot on their minds. What do you mean they have a lot on their minds? And he was like, oh, but you just got to take a deep breath and just let them talk. Yeah. And you see, I'm talking too much. You feel me? I'm just like, what do you mean? Yeah. They have a lot on their minds. They're calling me nigger on the phone, and I'm at work, and you're the boss here, and you're not doing anything about it. Why are you here? Why are you in this position? So I kept doing that, hammering in on this point that they're literally talking to me this way. And so that was going on my whole first 2 years, every day, just getting called these random words. Like the amount of things that I've heard the last 2 years, I'm so desensitized to it now, because when people are on the phone anonymous talking to their senator, they know you have to talk. Oh, man, they're vicious. They're vicious. And I can't be as vicious as I really am. So I really feel my ego a lot, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to work within the system. And I'll get to that in a bit. That's why I really went public, because that's a lie. I was like, I'm going to try to work within the system. I won't call it out. I'll do like Josh Esquivel tells me, and I'll hold my tongue. What really got me is that when promotions started to come up a year and a half in, and I'm telling them, as we're doing writing tests, as I'm doing these writings, I'm writing in a way you would as a black dude, as a nigga from Arkansas who grew up in a black town, actually trying to connect with black people, making sure black people know they have a space within Congress. I'm writing, they're telling me, no, you can't write like that. And I'm like, well, no. The way we're writing these letters, these are only for white liberals who already have money. The way we write these letters would never connect with somebody from my neighborhood. The jargon we use, the points we talk about, and the way we present the information is alienating. It's overtly alienating people who need us most. And they, you know what they told me? They were like, you work at the pleasure of the senator. It's not your job to dictate how we write these letters. And so the type of person I am, I'm like, no, that's unacceptable. And so make a long story short, between calling out how often Josh was letting them just call me out of my name, and then also calling out the fact that the way we're writing these letters is not actually reaching the people we're supposed to be reaching, they passed me over for a promotion twice. And I know what they expected. They expected me either to just like let it go and to quit, or to just acquiesce. And I play the game, so I always maintain who I am foundationally. At the same time, just play the game to move up. Had to do it at Stanford, had to do it at Harvard, because they don't respect me. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give my respect. And so I'm playing the game. Okay, you're right. I need to do this. finally get promoted. And when I get promoted, like I said, that's when I finally start seeing the senator in person, because we have meetings just about every day when she's in office, and when she's not, it's at least once a week. But when I got promoted, my whole focus shifted. I didn't even think about the letters anymore, because once I moved downstairs and I realized she was senile, once I like the stuff to rewrite, the memos rewrite goes to the White House. Once I realized that the White House staff jokes about how Biden also forgets his press briefings because he's also senile, I was like, it's not about these letters. It's about getting to the bottom of how these people can stay in these offices without having any connection to the streets, and also being overtly unaware of what's going on, where people can call it out throughout the state. They can protest our office, but nothing changes. And I was like, this shit is only going to change if somebody has the I was about to say BALS, has the backbone to actually say something about this, who works in the office. Because you know what I'm talking about. You see it on TV, but you don't know the intricate details enough to verify it. And I was like, well, you know what? I'll verify it. And it just took me about 3 years to really get that things down. And so once I realized she didn't understand what's going on, once I started talking to White House staff, people I know personally, who were telling me, and this was back when Trump was president as well. So this is I'm saying too many details at once. My adrenaline going. This was back when Trump was president. So I'm seeing Trump doing things that don't make any sense. I'm seeing Biden run, and I know from his staff when he was running that he's not fully cognitively there. I'm like, it's not about these letters. It's not about this job. I got to figure out what's going on in the government that it even allows this. And so this is what I started doing. Every day after work, after everybody left, I would just go. She has a folder outside her desk that holds every memo. I would go to that folder, pull out every memo, read every single memo when everybody was gone. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people would catch me in the office late. They're like, Jamarcus, you're working too late. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be a good little Negro. I was reading every single memo the last 3 years to really get to the bottom. Wow. What the fuck is going on? And bro, when I tell you, just collectively reading every memo, because people don't lie memos they lie memos to the senator in terms of trying to get the points they want to cross. But then they're still telling what's actually going on in the government. And the last 3 years, the amount of things that I read in memos that can't even be taking place, I was fucking flabbergasted.
Give me an example.
Well, when you say give you an example,
just
the big example that I said that is kind of hard for people to even believe is that Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, two big military companies, she was running for re-election. And she was getting pressure not to run because she was 84, 86 at the time. Raytheon and Lockheed Martin wanted to keep her in there so they could push this phony war in Ukraine. And they also wanted to make sure that at the same time, she didn't get any type of pressure from Kevin De Leon, who was also running. And so most of what we were doing over the last few years was dictated by those two military companies who literally are making a ton of money now, billions of dollars based on the war that the U.S. government has been pushing. So I'm like, wait, this is fucking crazy. That's a big example. The small example for people who live in California day to day is whenever we ask for any money for homelessness, she says no. Yeah. And I just want to say that straight. Whenever we ask for $5 for homelessness in Los Angeles, when we ask for $10 for homelessness that takes place in Oakland, no matter what it is, she doesn't do anything about it. And that's the biggest issue for me. There's a million issues in government, but I know where I'm from. Housing insecurity is just the fundamental thing, because it's a lot of danger, a lot of things that people have to worry about, but then you can't even sleep anywhere. So that's what I always made my biggest point, writing in about homelessness. The fact that the senator of California knows people are walking around in downtown LA with nowhere to sleep, nowhere to get fresh water, no electricity, and she does nothing about it. I was just like, well, this is too much for me. Like besides what's going on in the military in Ukraine, that's the high level thing that I want to make sure people know about. But at the end of the day, she does not even care about homeless people in California. And I was like, okay, this is out of hand. You're the senator of 40 million people. A lot of people struggling. Housing is getting out of hand in California. People can't afford to live, and you won't even let me give them $5. Right. I don't even need 5 people to take that literally. It's in millions.
I know. But yeah, it's just disgusting that, she campaigns on, hey, I'm going to help these people.
I know.
And then she gets elected we see it across the board, whether it be on the left or on the right.
Yes.
They get elected and on these campaign promises, or pretty much basically just playing on people's goodwill, good nature,
Yeah.
to want to help others. And it's disgusting that people like her has stayed in office so long, because like I said, you're basically confirming everybody's suspicions with all of what you've exposed. But she's been around, shit, I don't know, 50, 60 years, almost as long as Biden. And it's like at any given point, the people of California could have elected someone else.
Exactly.
And here we are again. She's up for re-election. Who knows if she'll be given that opportunity to stay there until she dies, I guess, or retires. But
she died.
Yeah, that's pretty much
it, man. The thing that I find fascinating is that they separate the people who work for her in her office and the people who work for her campaign. You're technically, legally, not even allowed to talk to each other.
Right.
And so this is what was happening. She was running for re-election, saying things that I knew were lies, that we never do, that we would never do. And so I'm going to the chief of staff saying, wait, why is the senator lying about this shit that I'm writing a memo that y'all won't even look at? He's like, we can't discuss it. And I'm like, okay, that's one way they keep power. And like more than anything, in the last 3 years, I've just been taking a lot of actual notes and mental notes about different mechanisms they use to like divide and conquer, like Caesar did. So yeah, every time I would go to the chief of staff, legislative director, and talk to them about the senator's fucking lying to people on the campaign trail about this thing, and I'm literally writing about it, and she won't even fucking look at it. She will, and every time she looks at it, she says no. Wow. And every time they would say, we can't discuss the campaign, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I know that's the law, but in the real world, you discuss this shit in your office. You're the chief of staff. You know that you're not leaving your job, going home and working on this. You're doing it all in the same office because you're a fucking human who literally has a ton of stuff to do. You're lying to me. You don't want to talk about it to me because I'm telling the truth. You know that you want her to get reelected because it helps you and your bottom line. But why don't you answer my question, Chief? Why don't you answer why is she lying and saying that she's gonna do this? Let me calm down and let me tell you something, actually, because you said give you an example. This is the example. This is just all off the top of the dome. I'm back in Arkansas right now because they're trying to close my fucking high school, so I don't have any weed. So my adrenaline is pumping. This is the example. Our office, we always have, how Californians are. I love Californians, fucking crazy people. They literally so much energy, a lot of fervor. They protest our office all the time. And I would act like, oh, they shouldn't be, but I would be there. It would give me all the adrenaline juice I needed. The biggest protest we started having is when people were protesting for Dreamers, right? Because that's the biggest fucking topic. You're trying to, Obama, the deporter in chief, throwing 400,000 people out the country every year. And so they're protesting. And so the Democrats at one point decided to shut down the federal government over DACA. The senator said, fuck no. And that's the shit that really got me, because she said no. And they had to talk her into it to let her know that she would hurt her re-election chances, and she didn't. And number two, it would never actually get passed because there weren't votes, so it wasn't going to be politically consequential to shut down the government. Wow. And so they helped shut down the government over DACA when Senator Feinstein, Chuck Schumer, and a few other Democrats who were helping lead this didn't support it. They did it because they got a lot of political pressure from the left before an election. And then two, knowing that it would never actually go anywhere because it never reached the 60 vote threshold to actually pass in Congress. And I watched these fucking people lie. Because when you talk about a protest for Dreamers, people are fucking, this is like the energy is fervent, it's their family. It's people who
absolutely
their whole lives. It's people that's very visceral.
Yes.
The way I watched them walk out and lie, knowing that these people, they don't know what's going on behind closed doors, it fucking killed me, bro.
Yeah.
I was helping them lie too, and I knew she was lying, and I didn't have the backbone at that point to speak up. But I'm like, you are lying to people whose families are literally about to be deported, and you don't even give a fuck. And I was just like, okay, I got to do something.
Yeah. Well, I want to actually get around to what you did because it actually grabbed the attention of headlines all across the country. You would have protested against our senator, I guess, here in California, Dianne Feinstein, by let's see, jumping on her desk, and I actually have the video that I want to show. I can't show the audio of it because
Oh, man.
what is it, YouTube, and there are strikes and copyright laws or whatever the case may be. But anyways, here's one of the headlines from Breitbart. Fired former Dianne Feinstein staffer entered into senator's office, smoked a blunt in smoke-filled insurrection. It's funny that they should use that word, insurrection. I want to get around to that a little bit later.
The political.
Yeah, exactly. But here's a video of you in Dianne Feinstein's office.
You gotta show when I was stomping on the white couch, man. Because I had that fuck your couch mentality, so I had to step on the white couch, bro.
Oh yeah, okay, for sure. So I'm gonna fast forward here. If you could just tell me, what are you doing?
Man, so
what's going on?
Man, so when I got in there, because keep in mind, this is just years of energy building, but the biggest thought, because a lot of people have been asking me, man, did you just snap one night? Did you do this or that? It's like, no. I've been thinking about this for a minute, but the biggest thing that I realized is that I've been saying these same things in the office, out of the office, but I'm a nigga from Arkansas. Nobody's listening to me. I got to do something to wake people up. I got to do something.
Right.
That you see this, you don't even care about politics, but you're like, this is fucking nuts. Yeah. And it had to wake people up because at the end of the day, people don't want to listen to people that look like us. They don't. Right. At the end of the day, don't even want us in the office. I wrote a post the other day on IG. People at Harvard don't even look me in the eye. People at Stanford didn't look me in the eye. When I was at Oxford, they literally told me I couldn't go into the library because I didn't look like a student there, as they were letting other white students in. And so I know at the end of the day, there's no way I could be the smartest in terms of how they perceive things. But at the end of the day, I got to make sure I get my voice out because I am right. I am the smartest in this situation because the black people run this fucking country, have built this fucking country. And at the end of the day, we have the least amount of voice. And I was like, I just got to wake people up. And also, some very basic shit. I was just like, there are so many niggas that come into the office. They're so hyped, so flabbergasted, and they will never see how the inside of this space looks because they're not invited. It's not for you. It's for the people that have all the money that are destroying your families. And I was like, at the end of the day, y'all got to see this office. It's lit in here. Then, it's like a vibe. You can see you can look through the windows. I went to the bathroom. It's lit. I was like, people got to see this because this is your government. It's not Feinstein's government, but that's how she thinks it is. Right. She works for y'all, but at the end of the day, she thinks that y'all the ones that work for her. So I was like, y'all got to see this office.
Yeah. That's how they all think, is that they run the show. They forget that they work for us, we the people, when we're the one that gave them that job. We, voted for them and elected them into that public position. And it's sad that even the public has gotten conditioned to believe that you got to do what the government tells you to. I mean, exactly. Even with, your video and, you putting it out there, it being on Breitbart and being headlined as an insurrection. Okay. Right. When this January 6th insurrection deal happened, you know what I'm saying? They wanted to call it freedom, freedom fighters, liberty loving Americans. But you protest against, you would think, one of their enemies.
Bro, a person that they hate. They literally hate Feinstein, but they're so racist. They're like, right. We still gotta attack this nigga. And the people that are looking at this title, go to this article and read the comments and ask yourself how people who hate her for so many years are somehow directing their anger towards me, because it's not about her. It's about the fact that they feel that they have no power and they know it. But instead of actually fighting the people who are oppressing them, they just go for the easiest targets that they can.
Exactly.
It's a very small ego. And so
definitely. And it shows also that they're fragile about their beliefs, because they're being challenged to say, hey, here's an example confirming what you believed, and here's something you could do about it. But instead, you're rejecting it and saying, you know what, I have a problem with how it was delivered. That, like they say, don't kill the messenger, you know, kill the message, you know, or look at the message that's happening here. And it's sad that a lot of people are overlooking that even still. I mean, even with you talking about, you know, speaking up, if you were a woman in that same environment saying, hey, like you said, there isn't even HR. So if you were a woman and you got sexually harassed, or, you know, even a man, or whatever the case may be, if something happened to you and you were to speak up in that environment, you know, then if you were anything but a black man, I hate to say it, then more people would be supportive of what you did.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And that's why, man, more than anything, the biggest thing I've been thinking about for the longest time is that since I was 15, when I was 15 years old in like ninth grade, that's when Obama started rising up. And they took a poll in my class and they were like, they were voting for Obama. I forgot who he was running against at the time. And then Ralph Nader. Everybody in the school voted for Obama, and I was the only one that voted for Ralph Nader. Keep in mind, I didn't know who the fuck Ralph Nader was. But everybody, I was even telling my parents, go back and check the tape. I'm just making the tape. But yeah, I'm telling people, like, no. He's not describing our community. I've been watching the news since I was in seventh grade. I remember telling everybody, because the people were in school were like, he just want to be different. I'm like, no. Y'all literally see where we live. It's Palm Bluff, Arkansas. I love the community, great people, but a lot of poverty because the state doesn't do anything to help us, and they come to our community to take all our resources. So I was looking at him for the longest time, and every year I noticed that he wasn't describing our community. But again, I know as a black person in this country, you do have to play the game until you can get the power to speak up. And so I'm watching him, you know, run for election, not describing my community. Then I saw him get elected, not describing my community. And I'm like, well, you know, maybe he's waiting for re-election. Then I saw him get reelected, not describing my community, thirsting for white approval. I'm like, well, maybe it's just he's waiting until he get out of office. And I think what really got me, man, is that it was a few things. It was one, when Bernie Sanders, he had the momentum after the Iowa caucus and the New Hampshire primary. Obama calls Amy Klobuchar, he calls Pete Buttigieg having to drop out so Biden can win South Carolina, even though he himself knows Biden is senile. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's something I don't know. You know, you constantly trying to ask yourself, am I tripping? And so then once Biden gets elected, you know, I'm just like looking at all the decisions Biden is making. I'm like, none of these are logical if he was actually aware of what's going on and what people need. But I'm still trying to take a step back. But what really got me is after all of these things that he's done, he still doesn't speak up and doesn't say anything for black people in terms of what's really going on. Keep in mind, Senator Feinstein was the person who was over his inauguration. He knows her like I know her. He knows she's racist. And I'm like, how? Because it blew my mind when I started learning about her over the last few years. Because I was like, how did Obama have her over his inauguration when she can't even tell me from the other black dude in the office? She keeps calling me the other black dude's name. Like I told you in the article, and that's my nigga. I love him. We don't even look alike. We don't even talk alike. This man has a beard. I got a little slim face. And so I'm like, at the end of the day, I was just like, well, we're not getting any help from Obama. We're not getting any help from Biden because all of these people are making their lives on the backs of black people. And this is the thing that really got me about Obama. That's why I have to speak on this show today. The only way I survived this building is the staff, the people who work in the diner hall, the people who work around the building, and I won't even cap the black cops. You know, as much as I want to criticize cops, and I also feel that as well in terms of cops are literally hunting niggas for no fucking reason. The black cops help me out. They all helped me out through the last 5 years. 81 workers in the Senate are going to be fired on April 15th. Keep in mind, they've been struggling for years throughout the pandemic. They're going to be fired April 15th. People who work in the Senate, unless Democrats wake up and fund it. Obama goes to the White House yesterday and he talks about how much the strides we made with Obamacare. I'm like, what? No, what? You know, people are struggling still. You know, gas is so asinine that you can't even get health care. Like you can't even get deductible. You can barely.
And you'll still be fined for it if you don't get it.
Right. Bro, don't make me get up. I'm trying to sit right. And then when I watched Obama sit there yesterday talking to a senile president who's letting gas rise to the point where niggas are being priced out of even going to work, and he knows these 81 workers are going to get fired on the 15th, I was like, well, somebody got to speak up for black people because the person who we thought was going to do it clearly doesn't have the backbone to.
Right, absolutely. Thank you for speaking up. We need more people like you doing exactly that. And I'm grateful to have the opportunity to have you here to speak with me about it now. Um, I want to play devil's advocate for a minute and switch gears because you have some people out there that are, of course, criticizing your actions and looking at it as being, damaging or, uh, the type of behavior that isn't exemplary of somebody in your position. So,
Right, right.
because you were in customer service, and like you said, you're hearing calls and people are chewing you out. And I worked in customer service. I would get chewed out and called all types of shit all the time. I was like you, I wasn't going to be disrespected, but when you're handling it in a professional manner, it's still a matter of being able to report to your superiors, I guess, about those type of interactions, because it tells you the amount of I guess people's perception. It kind of gives you an idea of the customer base that you're supplying for,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. So you would think they'd be more appreciative of that. But anyways, so with you having a certain position, customer service, it's a hard job. Why didn't you just suck it up and do your job?
Right. It's a great question. And it goes back to the fact, and this is visceral, very direct. White people are racist and they don't want us in this country. And they're lying by using people like me who go to these schools to hide the fact. When you go to Harvard, bro, I wrote a post about Stanford. I want people to go to my IG page and look at the post I wrote about Stanford, because the real issue in this country are black men who have privilege of going to schools like Harvard and Stanford. And they're so thirsty to be with white women to get this white approval. They don't say a word about what's really happening, even though it has to be on us who are behind these scenes in these rooms to say, like, what's going to happen if we don't speak up. Because I know when I was speaking up, at the end of the day, they didn't care. They don't listen to you. And so this working within the system thing is a lie that black people, black men, not even black women, because black women always getting the short end of the stick. Black men in my position too, they know that they're not listening to us, and they just keep us around for the visuals just to have us there, and they're making the decisions. And so, like, keep in mind, I've been there for 5 years, and I've been saying it for 5 straight years that I'm just a visual there. When I was at Stanford and Harvard in class, raising my hand about racism, and the professor's talking over me, I realized I'm just a visual on campus. And so at the end of the day, I realized I can talk. They don't respect my intelligence, and they don't even want me to speak. And so shout out to Will Smith, man, because something that Will Smith did that I appreciate from a visual standpoint, we're so desensitized to the plight of black people, particularly black women. We would let Chris Walk talk shit about a black woman in a room full of white people, things that he would never say about Anne Hathaway, things that he would never say about Meryl Streep. But he could say this about Jada Pinkett Smith. And I love it because I feel like black people are living 2 different lives now. And I come back home and I see the real world where black people are living around each other, talking and actually having conversations. And then it's the niggas that live on the internet. My life is on the internet. It's the LinkedIn page. It's the fact that I have an email address, all of these things. And what Will Smith showed you is that in the real world, where white people are literally paying black men to treat black women like shit. Whether you're talking about rappers that whenever they're rapping, their ego is all in the backs of black women. And when you talk about, I heard Kevin Hart saying comedy's dead. Nah, nigga, it's not dead. We're done talking about black women and criticizing us when they're the ones that are the problem. So I love when Will Smith got the shit out of him, because I know what got the shit out of him, bro. I know people are like, oh, the Academy Awards. I'm like, no. I saw a black man who has real emotions, who doesn't fake because he has real confidence, like me. I know I'm looking erratic, but this is how I actually act. Because I love how Will Smith has real confidence. He has real love for Jada Pinkett Smith, that he's not just gonna allow this thing that we just are desensitized to laugh at, which is not funny. It's like, no, she has alopecia, and even if she didn't, this comment wouldn't be made about a white person. This is the type of shit that happens to black people, and now white men have gotten so much bravado since they killed the Malcolm X, the Fred Hamptons. What they do is they pay black men to tear down our community. They play backmen to like get into these roles and be like Obama, where you act like you're saying something, but you don't really say much. Where you Chris Rock, you act like you're talking about everybody, but the vicious comments you really make are towards black women. And those days are fucking over. Like at the end of the day, I'm realizing white people are going to be racist the way they are, and we have to just wake up for ourselves and our community. Because like I say, we do have allies, but a lot of times it's hard to even tell how much somebody is an ally if you're not with them in private. But the thing about me, man, I've been with white people in private growing up in Arkansas. I've been with white people in private going up to Flint, Michigan every year where they poison our water. I've been with white people in private at Harvard. Been with white people in private at Stanford. Been with white people in private when I went to England. I dealt with so much racist shit there. I know it's completely different than what people see on TV. And I couldn't even explain to you the tone that white people talk in private and what they say, because so many black men are gatekeepers that it'd be hard to even believe. And we got to stop gatekeeping for people who don't give a fuck about our communities. I understand the fear about jobs, money, but it's like, nah, just take a breath and realize we were fine 50, 60 years ago before they turned us against our own community. Let's get back to that because we love each other and we just do this shit for money. Chris Rock would have never said that in front of a group of black people just because he gets money to get up there at the Academy Awards and say that. And that's the thing I'm realizing, like, we got to stop allowing ourselves to get paid to do this. Because at the end of the day, I could have worked that job 10 more years. Everybody passed me on the back, bro. Everywhere I go, they're like, thank you, young man. You're like, and at the end of the day, they have no idea how it's the complete opposite. Because for too many decades, so many black men have benefited on the backs of this system without saying a goddamn word about it.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing to hear, is that there has been so many people that have kind of been in those white spaces, white protected spaces. We'll just call it what it is, where they feel like they got to fit in, and then they bite their tongue, and the next generation suffers because of it. So if anything, I applaud you for standing up, because it's about damn time, like you said, that shit has come to an end. And white people, if anything, got to realize that we're not going to let shit slide. Now it's time to really be honest and be upfront and be truthful, and if I haven't said anything publicly about the Will Smith thing, because there's a lot when you're running for office, but I'll take a moment to tell you, since that's what we doing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm with you, man, as far as disrespect for a man's wife.
In the real world.
In the real world, right. If you said something about my wife and it was something about her medical condition or something like that, oh yeah, we got problems for sure. More than smack the shit out of you. I'm gonna probably try to choke the life out of you.
Right. And they got niggas so desensitized out of fear and for money, we don't say anything anymore.
Right. And that, not only that, but they got us also fearful of acting as men and being defensive, because it's just in our human nature. And a lot of people want to say, no, that was wrong of him. He shouldn't have responded with violence. But yet at the same time, you'll support a war in Ukraine. You'll support a war in Afghanistan. You'll support all of these type of violent acts being made by people who care less, like you said, about you and your life, your daily life, or whatever the case may be. But yet you want to shun another man for standing up and defending his wife, which you would think would want to be one of the most honorable things a man could do, and you would get applauded by the audience. But because it's in control by a white narrative, you're not going to get that that pat on the back, and in the black community, we need to stop adhering to white people's standards to say, that's unacceptable. Hell no, like you said, if this was an all black audience and he said some shit like that, and he smacked the shit out of him, they probably, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, bravo.
Exactly, bro. That's the thing is that but the biggest thing that I think we have to start back doing as community is choosing what we read. Because one thing I've learned since I started posting on Instagram about the story, watching it being shadow blocked, watching them dictate what's coming up in the news feed, we don't realize the extent to which we're not even choosing our news. They're selecting it. One, they choose which articles get written. They cut out local news, so our news is not even dictated by our communities. And then two, your timeline is not even about whether it's in chronological order. It's about the fact that Instagram and Facebook, they are literally hiding things that are important for you that will actually get you riled up. And they're showing us the stupid shit that is going to give us a little quick hit that's not actually going to change things. And that's why I think when you read, because I read a lot, I'm just like, y'all are tripping about Will Smith, but celebrating Obama. You know, he authorizes drone strikes that killed children every year he was in office. And he comes out smiling. And he never talks about the fact that he says, go murder those kids in this brown country. Obama. They never talk about how you look at Elon Musk, you look at Jeff Bezos, and like, oh, shout out to all their wealth. They don't talk about how they're literally saying, pay those people who need a living wage half of what they're worth, so they'll be living in poverty, and then they can get benefits, and we'll subsidize our company, and then let's just criticize them so we can make more money. We got to start calling out the people who have power, because what Chris Rock did, and that's why I don't fuck with people who do this, to call out black women or people who don't even dictate how the whole system works. Keep in mind, everybody takes their whole vibe, everything from black women. Black women are the standard. But in terms of the money and power, that comes from the Warren Buffetts, the Jeff Bezos. In terms of the visual power, the Obamas. And those are the fucking people who are literally doing evil stuff, that are literally killing people in other countries for no reason other than money, that are literally paying you $7 an hour for literally no reason other than money. Call them out. And so Kevin Hart, when he said the other day, comedy's dead, it's like, no, it's not dead. You just need to start calling out the people who actually have power over you instead of chasing this white approval.
Yeah, there was a delay there. I hear you. Absolutely. I agree with you. We got to stop seeking that approval, especially when, it hasn't benefited us in the past and it's not going to benefit us in the future. So the point has come where we definitely got to say no more, So if anything, I applaud him because, hey, you disrespect my wife in front of a million people, I'm going to disrespect your ass
Live
in front
TV.
of a million people, right?
You saw that. And I know in the real world, I can hear how you speak too. I know they're always fake laughing because they have to as black people at those shows. But I saw in Jada's face, it was like, nah, that's hurtful. And I know if I was Will, when I saw her look at people, I was like, oh, he was laughing at first. It's like, nah, niggas, he's fake laughing because that's what you got to do as black people in these spaces. Like, that's me, the all throughout Stanford and Harvard. What a good joke, Tom. Just because Tom.
Well, you know what? Even if he was fake laughing or laughing seriously or whatever the case may be, he looked at his wife. He saw a look of pain on her face.
Pain.
If you can't respond to that in a loving manner, and or even have that affect you, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's awful how people are making all sorts of comments. It's sad that people are even bringing up their personal life with, their open relationship, open marriage, or whatever the case may be, to say, hey, you can allow this, you can allow your wife to sleep with other men, but they make a joke about her and you want to get all defensive or whatever the case may be. To me, those are two separate things, because it's like, hey, this is a situation where we as adults, consenting adults, have agreed upon. It's none of your fucking business.
It's none of your business. Why are y'all in there? Why are you tripping?
Yeah, even if you don't agree, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's something that we as adults are dealing with. Now, on the other hand, here we are in a public setting, in a public forum, and an insult is made to someone and it's being used as a joke, and nobody likes to be made fun of, period. It's like the fat girl who always gets teased when she goes out to a comedy show never wants to go out to a comedy show because she knows if she goes out, she's going to be teased. You know what I'm saying?
And in this country, you got to act like you're not hurt just because it's the culture here. It's like, no, we're past fucking acting. We act because white people force us to perform just to live. I love Will Smith where he's like, no, I'm not acting. We're in an open relationship. I don't own Jada. There's this great book called The Ethical Slut. It just talks about how much where our egos are so degraded. We feel like we own our partners No, I've been in an open relationship before. It's great. It teaches you that I love this person and I have the capacity to love other people. And also, I can't give this person necessarily everything that they want, but at the same time, I trust each other so much. I don't have to have all of these fake facades about like, oh yeah, I should have done this or that. It's like, no. I can cry. I can get angry. I can slap the shit out of Chris Rock because we actually love each other and we're honest with each other. We don't try to hold any type of facade of what society thinks we should be. And so that's couples goals for me, man.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, because if anything, it just shows that they're more secure with each other and where they are and with their love for one another than most relationships. I mean, you have people that cheat on each other, and it's like they go through the back and forth that causes versus being honest adults, and coming to some conclusion. And it's awful that sometimes you even have situations where children are involved, and they get caught up in this tug of war between two adults that really simply just haven't matured enough, unfortunately. And as far as the public is concerned, it's a shame that we haven't gotten to that point where people would mind their damn business, because I mean, I don't give a damn what your sexuality is. I don't care who you doing whatever in your own bedroom. That's your business. And
exactly, bro.
And that's how
real confidence. That's real confidence. It's not all that bravado. Real confidence is saying, let me let you do you because I'm confident in myself. Yeah. And I'm like, people
as long as you're not hurting nobody. I mean, who gives a damn?
I ain't hurt nobody. And at the same time, these are the same people that would look up to these people who are literally killing their families. And that's what I had to remind myself at one point. Because Senator Feinstein, face to face, she smiles to your face. And I had to remind myself, she's not letting me actually write and get this money that's going to help Black people who are struggling in California. Because that's the thing, we're so desensitized to it, because a lot of white people that are rich, they smile in public. Jeff Bezos is always going to smile in public. But in private, you know how Amazon works. Let's cut the benefits. They're making that much, let's cut them. And so that we have to just read and remind ourselves, he's lying about his personality just because that's how you get power in this country. Right. And at the end of the day, if they're gonna lie, when Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. Now I'm definitely gonna go lower. I'm definitely gonna go and be my whole self and show like, nah, I'm not gonna take this.
Absolutely, I'm glad you are, and you're speaking out in that word.
We gotta start speaking up, man, because
headlines like this one here with you talking about how the senator cares more about her dog than Black people.
that was the greatest quote of all time that I made, man. And that's facts. That's facts, because you want to hear something that's weird also. Her dog died at one point. Her dog was named Kirby. She literally replaced the dog with a dog that looks just like it and named it Kirby again. And like, it's just kind of like
damn, not even Kirby 2 or Kirby Jr. or something like that.
Not even Kirby Jr. Like, I've never seen such a dissent. And the thing people have to understand about Senator Feinstein, like every politician, like everybody you see in public, even me, people that you see on the news or on TV, they have a certain ego that they're hiding, because in this country, you have to have a massive ego to even survive, but also look humble to actually get on TV and be respected. The stuff that she says in private, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked. She's vicious. She's angry. Like, she's constantly saying things to tear down people's self-esteem. People in the office hate her. People leave the meetings, they talk shit about her. The only difference between me and them is I'll say it to her, they say it behind closed doors, because they don't actually have anybody back at home that they're looking out for. They're looking out for themselves.
Wow. Yeah, and it's sad, the evil boss, it extends beyond just the corporate atmosphere to where it's now in our government body, because these are supposed to be the most humble people. They're public servants. As I said before, they should be working for the taxpayers, the hardworking people of this country. But it's obvious they don't. You got Raytheon and Google and, Tesla and all of these, big money influencers that have pretty much bought out these speakers. And it's sad, because they're supposed to be representatives of us when really they're representatives of the monopoly, Well,
Ken, I gotta tell you something. I gotta tell you, because what you said has touched my soul. One of the biggest issues everybody in this country knows are big pharmaceutical companies who are literally giving people drugs, kill them because they make money, knowing that that's not even the fundamental issue people have. knowing that people have much more different issues, but they know if they give them this, like whatever type of drug is going to be fine for them. So I see Cory Booker all the time around the Senate. Cory's the biggest performer in the Senate. He's a master actor. Like, because Obama, everybody performs in government, but Obama knows, like, he went to Chicago and New York. He knows how to try to at least act a certain way. I'm from a black community, so I know how the niggas actually are. So Cory, every time he sees me, yep, black man, I see you. He was like, black man, you're doing great. Random shit that doesn't even help me.
Fake nigga shit.
I was like, at one point, I was like, I'm gonna have to press this fucking ass. Like, I'm gonna have to press him.
Yeah.
So one time I see Cory in the elevator. Black man, he got bold. I wrote this on Facebook. He got bold. Instead of just saying, black man, I see you. I've been wearing my hair like this at work for the last couple of years. He was like, love your hair. I was like, appreciate you. What are you going to do about the drug companies in New Jersey who are Bro, when I tell you this man ran from me, I was holding it. I waited till I was in the elevator with him one-on-one. I was waiting for a couple months. When I tell you I asked him, he tried to laugh because he doesn't know me. Cory tried to laugh. He was like, you're working my best. I'm like, no, Cory. I actually looked at your people who are funding you. I know you're actually getting funded by pharmaceutical companies that are killing black people, and you're not speaking up about it. What are you going to do? This man, he's telling me, I have to go to my office. We can follow up. I know these people. So when he said he has to follow up, I'm like, oh, I'm going in that direction too. I walk with Cory all the way down the hall, asking him the same question about these pharmaceutical companies that are killing black people and making money off of it because the fucking Affordable Care Act, which is not even making it affordable, which is giving them more money to do it. Cory's running from me. But Cory can tell me every day this fake shit, black man, I see you. But when I ask him a real question in private, what are you going to do for these companies that are funding you that are killing my family? Right. Oh, he has to run. And that's who they are. And I don't run from people. That's the biggest difference between me and Cory. And keep in mind, I saw Cory get on TV telling future Supreme Court Justice Brown, it's like, I'm so happy for all these things. I'm like, no. I know you in private, Cory. You know that whether she gets on the Supreme Court or not, it's more conservatives there. So they're still going to overturn Roe v. Wade. You know, the real issue is the pharmaceutical companies you're taking money from. Why don't you say some shit about that, Cory? Why are you focusing on this non-issue? And so, like, people like that, when I talk about the sellouts, I'm not even talking about, like, I'm talking about Obama in one way, but Cory is another level because they all do the same shit, but the amount of energy Cory operates with, you like, that man is really happy and down for the community. That's the biggest fucking phony I've seen. And keep in mind, I know Cory personally. I talk to him. He runs. And, like, that's what I know about these people at Harvard. When I talk to them, they run. And it's obviously the white men, but the black men too, because once you make it to these schools, you've already won. Everybody wants you. And it's like they stop speaking up for the community. They stop speaking up for black women. And you know who's really running Harvard and Stanford? Black women. Black women are really putting the work in at these schools. I could not have made it through either one of those schools without black women because they speak it like it is. They don't fuck around because they know at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they say, they're not going to get respect. It's the black dudes who know if they coon a little bit, they'll get the jobs that they need. And it's like, come on, man. Have some fucking pride in yourself. Have some pride in being black. Bro, we built this. Have some pride.
You're right. It's sad that a lot of these people don't even have self-respect and dignity to, not stoop to such a level. And I feel for people like that, because it's like you're doing it to yourself more than anything. You know what I mean?
Like you're the one that's actually gonna be pent up. You're the one that's actually angry.
But they're also making it difficult for people like you that actually do speak up and, stand up for us. Collectively, even just as Americans, whether you're black, white, whatever the case may be, you're standing up for the values and the principles of this office, what it's supposed to represent. You know what I mean? So regardless of your skin color, you would think that would be something that's most appreciated above everything else. And it's sad that you do have people pushing against you, for what you've done. But like I said, man, I applaud you. If anything, I'm trying to get more people to hear about you. So everyone out there watching, please check out this interview with Jamarcus Purley by Rico Lamite. It's out here on the state of cannabis. Yeah, it was a great interview, man. I got to say, during this interview, man, I heard about your story, and it damn near made me cry. Just the things that you were saying, especially at the end with the music and shit. It was just heart-jerking shit. But I would say to anybody out there that wants to get a more in-depth view of what he's talking about and the overall picture here, definitely check out this interview. Is one you definitely don't want to miss. So right here, Jamarcus Purley interview with Rico Lamitte on the state of cannabis. You guys can find it. Just Google it. Shit, Google my man Jamarcus Purley, and it'll definitely pop up. But hey, man, I got a million questions for you. We probably could go on forever, but like I said, I want to be respectful of your time. And then, I got my wife and my son I want to get some family time in with before I got to take my ass to bed and go back to work tomorrow. So
I just got to say two things. One, I just appreciate you for having me on, because I know from my post, you don't know what the fuck I'm going to say in terms of it could be off the wall, but you let me on here raw because that's what we need. And then two, it goes to the same point. The thing why I did is that I realized every time I come back home, it gets tougher and tougher because they don't have any role models on TV. You can look at rappers that are talking shit about black women. You look at the Obama, they have all the power but don't say anything. And I'm like, well, I know everybody kid in my high school, they don't have the same people to look up to in the same way I did. They don't teach about the Malcolm X and the Fred Hamptons like they used to. No. And so you gotta start being them role models, man. And that's exactly what you're doing. And I appreciate you and I applaud you, brother.
Oh, thank you so much, man. God bless you. I'm doing my best to break through,
You are, bro.
I'm glad that you have, but one of these days I'll get my shine. But in the meantime, I'm gonna keep fighting a good fight. You definitely continue to do the same because we're gonna make it. We are opening people's minds, we're opening people's eyes, and we're opening people's hearts. And I think that's what's most important in this revolution that will be televised. They don't want to talk about it, but shit, you made the TV and I was like, oh shit. For sure, yeah.
Shout out Gil Scott Heron, bro. You already
go team. Shit, right there.
Thank you,
but
my brother.
That's how I feel, man. So if anything, like I said, we need more people like you out there. So everybody out there watching, find out more about Jamarcus Purley, how you can let him lead you by example. He also makes music, so I'm looking forward to hearing what you got, man.
It's coming up, bro. It's coming. Now that I'm out of that job, it's coming up. Yeah, I got some fire shit. For sure. Wait for it.
Coolio, bro. Well, hey, hopefully we'll be able to collaborate on something too, because I'm a MC. I'm a rap.
Bro. We on the same mindset. Nah, I love you for that. Appreciate you for having me.
Hey, I love you, brother, man. Thank you again for being here on the Black Side of Liberty, and take care until next time, brother.
Shout out to everybody out there. Appreciate y'all.
For sure. That again, you guys, was Jamarcus Purley, legislative correspondent for Dianne Feinstein, or former legislative correspondent for Senator Dianne Feinstein. So be sure to connect with him right there at the bottom of your screen on Instagram at Rocky G, like go, and then Vara, V-A-R-A. Definitely stay in touch with him because I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing a lot more. He's not going to stay silent. It's apparent that what happened with the office of Dianne Feinstein has definitely sparked a flame with this man, and he's going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And we definitely want to keep pouring gasoline and pour some gasoline on that flame, and get him to burn bright as possible. So please connect with him, follow him, and be sure to tell him Wildstar sent you. All right. Speaking of which, you guys, please be sure to connect with me and support me however you can by heading over to taxationistheft.info. Excuse me. Okay. Any and all of the merchandise sold on this website using my code GoWild 2022 helps make a contribution. I'll get this right one of these days. Helps make a contribution to yours truly and what we're doing to help bring back liberty. Okay, so you can buy some t-shirts, some hoodies, some bikinis, all that good stuff. My favorite is this stamp, which you can stamp all of your lovely dollars with to say taxation is theft. So yeah, head on over to taxationistheft.info, make a purchase, and use my code GOWILD2022 to help out your boy. Okay, also what you can do is head on over to nugofknowledge.com. All of you CBD smokers out there, if you don't smoke CBD, then hey, give it a shot. You live in America, all 50 states, it is legal. So head on over to nugofknowledge.com and try some CBD products, some of the top of the line, high quality CBD products that you can find, and also accepting Bitcoin, as you can see, for the THC or CBD products available. All right. So you can make that purchase here on the website. Use my code WILDSTAR, okay? And you'll get a discount off of your purchases. And like I said, will also help me and help the fight against drugs, drug laws that they've tried to do, the war on drugs. We want to end that war on drugs because it's done more damage than good. So make a purchase at nugofknowledge.com and you will help all of the people out there fighting against the war on drugs, like yours truly, by making a purchase on this website. Again, use my code for a discount, okay? And also, if you haven't heard, I am running for city council. Here it is. Head on over to crowdpack.com/C/GoWildFresno to help me win and get elected to Fresno City Council. I would appreciate any and all contributions. I'm 100% grassroots crowd funded. And so all of my contributions come from people like you. $5, $10, $20, any dollars, I'll take it. It's going to help me win this election. And I need them as soon as possible. All right. As soon as possible, because of the election day is in June, but they're going to be sending out mail-in ballots in May. So it's April now. We literally have until the end of the month. So my goal is to fundraise $25,000, hopefully before the end of the month. Do what you can to help me hit that goal, if possible. That way I can come on strong for election day. All right. And we need to get the message out there now. So this helps me get the message out there now. Make sure people know who I am before elections start and people start voting next month. Okay. I appreciate all of the support. My man, hard body training in the house I need that for muscle soreness. Some of those CBD products, I guess. And yeah, he said he also would like to have a good night. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate you, brother. Take care. Have a great evening. Thank you to any and all of you out there that were watching and didn't say a word. William Kearns, Mark Jones, who was a hater who I kept backstage. But yeah, you guys, I appreciate you all for being here on the Black Side of Liberty. I'm going to be coming back with another guest sometime soon. Keep them coming as frequently as possible. So what you want to do, of course, is be sure to connect with me on social media if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Hold on, let me put that banner up there first. All right, connect with me on social media. And if you're watching on YouTube, definitely be sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notifications as to when I drop more videos. Again, coming soon, so stay in tune. All right, as that banner was saying, I dropped it. But yeah, send me something also through the Cash App if you want. $ Governor Wildstar. If you want to send me a Cash App donation, again, $ Governor Wildstar. Right now. Don't wait till later. Whatever you can give right now. The revolution is right now. And we need to vote with our dollars. We need to protest with our dollars. And if we want to have a chance against the monopolies out there, we got to come together, do some community funding, do some crowdfunding, and we can do this. So head on over to Cash App, send me a donation using $ Governor Wildstar. All right. Till next time, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Like I said, please be sure to subscribe. And of course, sharing is caring. So share this video, comment, like, all that good stuff. I'm out of here. Until next time, long live liberty, y'all. Peace.